Hello there, good afternoon, and welcome to Vanguard Live. Of course, it is another special edition of Lunchtime Discourse here on Vanguard Live TV, broadcasting to you from Lagos, Southwest Nigeria. Of course, it is a beautiful Tuesday afternoon here in the city of Lagos, but well, it is not all that beautiful because we're still having a massive protest against the special anti-robbery squad of Nigeria police still currently ongoing. Of course, we have seen live pictures, and of course, the policemen, of course, are still being seen, arresting protesters, in the most barbaric manner, despite the fact that people are calling for scrap of such units that people have said have been involved in killing and extortions of many innocent Nigeria. Alright, today we are going to be looking at the protest in itself and of course every other thing that comes around it. But I have with me, joining me via Zoom, Avri Ederu, right? Eyewu Edero. Sorry if I didn't get that name right. I beg your pardon. Okay, I have with me in the studio Avril Eyewu Edero, who is a forensic and security professional. She joins us via Zoom. Edero, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we also have with us joining us via Zoom all the way from Edo State. That is Honorable Etinosa Igebo. He is the founder of Think West Initiative. Honorable, you're welcome to the show.
Thanks very much for having me.
All right. Let me start off with Avril. Avril, you, of course, have been following the protest that has happened in the past few weeks. And we've had a lot of issues of unwarranted arrest against the protesters and all of that. Please, can you let us in an insight into what you think is really going on?
So, there's a widespread anger, a widespread, people are tired, I guess. People that have been harassed, or they know they have a story, or they know a story of someone that's been harassed. Personally, my brother has been harassed a few times, and he doesn't look like a criminal. So, it's something everyone has had a story they could tell. So I think the people are frustrated coming out. They want to not just for the government to listen to them, but they want a change. They want changes. They're saying they want the SARS, they want to end SARS. But looking at it from a broader perspective, what they really want is a reform. They want a change. They want something to work. They don't want to be profiled. They don't want to be brutalized. People that should be looking after them. So that's what we see. And so it's just years of stored anger. The way protest would always start. Someone would trigger it, and everyone is angry, but someone gave them what you call the dinner to come out on the street and get their voices heard. And then we had a situation where the IG said the SARS will be disbanded. But because we've had several commitments like this that has not been actionalized.
All right, I was actually coming to that because you just made mention of people calling for the scrap of the special anti-robbery squad unit of the Nigeria police, SARS, right? And then you were also saying that it seems as though the people do not really believe such commitment from the government. Okay, I think about 3 days ago we heard the IGP saying that the special anti-robbery squad unit, the SARS, has been disbanded. And then you rightly said now that people really do not believe that, and then they are calling for maybe a reform would be better than just scrapping it. Do you think really we should believe in the new reform that the government has promised, or scrapping it is actually the way to go?
So this whole thing, for someone like me that work a lot with the police, and I would not say I think it's scrapping the SARS works, because if you scrap the units, they will be moved to other units. So the same people are going to be within the system. That's why I'm more on the side of reform than do the right thing. Get these people trained, put measures in place that will make the police work. You know, these police are also a victim of the system. They also, if you hear their stories, if you're around them, you would really understand the fights they are facing. So I'm not saying you cannot really disband it, because you're not, except you want to now sack all the SARS and then put them back on the streets, which I don't think anybody like. What they're going to do is just basically removing them from SARS and putting them in maybe anti-fraud or any other unit within the police system, and this will continue if there's no reform. So what we should be looking at is a reform of the police, and there are many things that entails. You know, many things to make the police actually work. You know,
right. Right. Avril, you talked about going forward with the reform. That, of course, that might be the way to go, really. But then, if you have been following the IGP, he made a statement just yesterday where he said that the new anti-robbery units of the police would not absorb some of the current SARS operative. Do you think that would work, if we have this new set of units, with men that are well oriented in civil relations?
We will still go back to the same problem if the right measures are not put in place. So even if you form another anti-robbery squad, call them another name, recruit new people, you will most likely still have the same problem if the right things are not done. It starts with proper recruitment,
right?
Proper training. The world has gone beyond. I mean, if you want the anti-robbery squad, not be on the streets arresting people randomly. They should be working with intelligence teams. They should be working with surveillance, informants, and things like that. So if there is no armed robbery in one area, then SARS should not really be there, except there is an information that are coming and they are doing so that they shouldn't be on the streets. So they need to train them, proper training on how to do intelligence gathering, how to have build an informant program, how to use tools that can help do surveillance and things like that. If you don't put all those things in place, if you have random drug testings for the police, if you don't have body cams for accountability, when any police that is going on the street should have a body cam on, so they would know that anything they do will be held accountable.
Right.
And different other things. They're the same problem with even if you bring brand new police from anywhere in the world.
All right, you just spoke about putting the right things, in places before looking at, getting another unit, that would look towards ensuring we have security in Nigeria. But then let me quickly move on to Honorable Etinosa. Honorable Etinosa, you heard what Avril said. She said reforms find the way to go, but then if we're looking at reforming the Nigeria police, we should also put the right things in places. Okay, a lot of people have really said that underfunding is one of the major challenges, facing the Nigeria police. And in fact, someone said that that is partly the reason why we have some of these SARS guys, harassing young people. For instance, if you see a very young guy, driving maybe expensive car, the thing that comes to the mind of this SARS guy is that he is a 419, a fraudster, or someone who has perpetrated some kind of criminal stuff, just to get money and all of that. Do you think funding is really an issue here?
Yeah, well, there's no way I will not say funding is an issue, because you see, a lot has gone wrong in this society, and with all due respect, when you work with the system, when you work with the police force, because you're engaged with them to see the other part of them, under normal circumstances, it is difficult to come up and assume that they will behave in a certain way when they intend to have their wish come through. The truth of the matter is, our society is in a dire strait. We're in real trouble. Not just because of the police officers or the SARS officers who may have done something that is wrong, particularly. It also has to do with the responses and the mindset of the people who understand what has been happening over time and how certain people within SARS gets away. We are talking about somebody being killed, shot and killed, only because for far too long our society has been left to rot. Going back to the policing system in general, there's no way people within the police force can tell you that the recruitment processes have been quite reasonable. One thing I know within the police system is that, because I have friends across board, from the SARS guy to the regular SIB guys to the CIDs, many of them are committed, but is the structure enough to support and keep them happy with whatever they get? That is another issue. The officers that are more educated seems to do much better than the ones that are not. You see what I'm saying? And when it comes to the issue of SARS, the people that have been having problems, when you take a look at the statistics, are these people who are armed robbers? The question is no. So it is obviously clear that the SARS guys are taking advantage of being armed and in police uniform, sometimes dressed in a very inappropriate way to extort people. If you commit crime or dressing or looking in a certain way or driving a flashy car, the minute they can make money available, meet their demands, the crime is forgiven. So you now ask yourself the question, is it the police force that has a problem? Is it the operating system? Is it the financing? Is it the personality of the people? Maybe a few of them out of 100% who's creating this bad blood amongst our people in the society. There's no doubt that the anti-robbery squad has dealt with issues in many ways whereby it is even difficult to be a police officer. The conditions under which they work is very difficult. Sometimes they metamorphose that frustration into transferring into common man.
Right.
And that way they have to kind of live their life. It starts from the main authority and the system in general.
Right.
When you report an issue of a misbehavior of a police officer to the superior, they tend to want to quickly apologize and tell you, oh, I'm sorry, it will not happen again. But for the people on the streets, on the highway, believe it or not, it's a completely different ballgame.
Right.
I've had instances whereby I'm traveling on road from one state to the other, and I happen to come across SARS guys. Between you and I have police protection.
Right.
But they still end up having an argument with my police officers.
Right.
Trying to create a reason to get an attention in order to kind of regard them being on the road protecting you.
Right.
But when you drive past through the same place later at night, they're nowhere to be found.
Right.
No matter how many times you go there, they're not there. So I don't really blame the SARS officers for their conduct in most cases. I don't really blame the people who overreact sometimes to the way SARS should treat them, or police officers should treat them to extort them. By the time they meet the demands, their sins are forgiven. I won't really blame those like my sister, Every, who works within the system, to be able to find a lasting solution.
Right, Avery. Okay, right, nice. Avery spoke about, Honorable spoke about, change in structure and of course the mindset of some of these officers, and of course he also faulted, the recruitment process and all of that. Avery, you are a forensic expert and a security professional. Do you think that recruitment and the kind of officers that we get to recruit into the Nigerian police system are not well oriented as to dealing with civilians? Or what exactly do you think is wrong?
Even if you pick a man from the streets and you reorientate him and you train him and you provide good leadership, provide good welfare, you will most likely get the best out of him. So recruiting the right person is the starting point. A lot of people come to police mainly because they are frustrated with life and there's no longer any option for them. So a lot of people are not. Policing is supposed to be a passionate career. In other parts of the world, it's people that are passionate about humanity and things like that are going into policing. But a lot of people are angry already that, this police I don't like is the black option I have. So they are going into career because of that. So it's important that screen these people properly. A lot of them, they don't have a lot of education. They don't encourage them to get educated. A lot of them have to train themselves. I've seen police officers that actually, use their life savings from salaries that are not even it's not even worth saying, and they take out of that little money to even train themselves. So if we have an institution that thinks about these people, look at the RS, for example, in Lagos, the Rapid Response Squad. When you even see the type of leadership type of, the type of training that their leader, the commander gives. Some I know I've been around them a few times. You will see that they are different from many other police officers.
Right.
A lot of police, so you see the difference in them, and it comes to the leadership. At their time, it wants them to learn. It wants them to learn new things, and things like that. So it's not just apart from just recruiting them. You can rehabilitate people. You can make people comfortable. You can help people develop a passion they did not even have, working as a police. So like the Honorable said, they are already, some of them are frustrated because of the way things are. But if you recruit people that, you don't recruit the wrong people that are coming in with that, they not background check on, someone that is retired about police with criminal mind and things like that, with psychological issues. Someone that is not psychologically okay, coming into the police, and they are giving that person the guns and things like that. Someone that doesn't have orientation, that doesn't know about human relation, that does not know about interacting with people. There's just a whole lot, That kind of person cannot function well as a police officer.
Right.
And that's what
we saw a video yesterday, where protesters are being arrested and treated in the most barbaric manner, especially the fact that these protesters that were arrested were actually young ladies. We saw videos of policemen beating up these people. You think this issue of reforming the Nigeria police and then orientation and all of that, you think it has really gone beyond all of that? Because proponents of scrapping or reforming the SARS are now saying that there is need for total overhaul of the Nigerian police. Do you think that is the right thing to do?
There are two things that will make it work. First, there has to be a strict and effective disciplinary principle. So everywhere, you don't think about if I do something, there's only theory of rewards and consequences. If I do something, I'll get punished. It will probably prevent me from doing that. So if there is a strong disciplinary procedure within the policing system, that will deter them. And secondly, and most importantly, the criminal justice system needs to work effectively. If a police officer does wrong and they are prosecuted, if they are meant to face justice, other police officers will think about jail and those things, and stay away from those kind of behavior. The disciplinary system within the police needs to work. We need to see that, they need to also know. And they also need to know that if I do the wrong thing, unjustly, I'll face the criminal justice system.
Right. In one of your write-up, you talked about the introduction of modern technology, and then of course, forensic intelligence to help the Nigeria police work tactically. We'll come back to that, but let me quickly go to Honorable Etinosa. Honorable Etinosa, in the last election, you served as a campaign coordinator, the youth campaign coordinator for the APC candidates. Now, a lot of people are saying that political leaders are coming late to the party, to the SARS protest thing, and then of course they are faulting some of them for not acting in time. Do you think also that the issue of bad leadership has contributed immensely to the rot we have in the Nigerian police system?
I think that plays a major part of the whole idea of what we're suffering today. And yes, it is true. Something may have happened within the police system, and people have been killed many years before now, and perhaps if the matter is swept on the campaign, so be it, nothing happens. I once had the stats guys telling me if something happens to somebody, worst case scenario to social media, and I told him that is really wrong. It can't be that way. When it comes to the issue of leadership, the leaders themselves they know quite well that they lay the eggs. It's metamorphosing into a big problem today. But what they're not accepting to do is to have new blood, inject new energy into the system to help challenge that menace of
Right.
and obviously disobedient, because this disobedience and these feelers that we all have now that leads to this discussion, whether you're a forensic expert, whether you're a passerby, whether you're in the police force yourself, or
Right.
media guy, it is all born out of that inability to put our society together. For crying out loud, when they talk about reforms, I don't really think it's about reforms. Why don't we just go back to basics? Let us take Nigeria before we were born. What was it like? What was the policing like? What did they do differently then?
Right.
In the so-called modern world of social media,
Right.
exposing people being killed, and there are appraisals and people reacting to things that is not right.
Right.
We cannot do things the way it was before. Our police system used to work well. What about the Police Service Commission? What about the people in charge of disciplinary? Whether it is the police themselves, whether it is the civilians themselves, because not every civilian has good manners, with all due respect. Sometimes, because they've been marginalized and brutalized for so long, you will expect certain civilians to react much quicker.
Right.
These issues and instances is not something that is new to the leadership of this country.
Right.
They know quite well that these systems have failed.
Right.
They know quite well, even those that are handling the system in terms of welfare, because from the police officer that is working in a very harsh condition, they will tell you, I've been under the sun. You can't come here and disrespect my authority. This is my territory. You have to respect that.
But that is no ground, Honorable. That is no ground for being brutal against innocent citizens.
With all due respect, I'm not supporting that is the case. But when you're in a battlefront, for example, you're like in a war zone. Sometimes you act before you think, and these people are supposed to come out that way. There are instances where people understand that SARS or police officers can be very ruthless at times. They walk around relating with their mental state of mind. By the time they have a kind of a rapport, they can just teach them something as they move on.
Honorable, are you aware that at the moment Nigerians are kind of skeptical about some of the pronouncements coming from our political leaders? Just yesterday, the president said that all SARS officers involved in the killing of innocent citizens and of course engaging in human rights violations would be brought to justice. And the reaction that followed that statement was that no, this is not the first time they've called for so many prosecutions of course of these people, and then nothing was really done, nothing came out of it. Are you not worried that Nigerians are losing faith in our leaders?
See, let me tell you one thing. If you remember a statement that was made by the IG, I think, or the police relations officer,
right.
He says, no, we cannot disband SARS now because SARS are involved in the fight in the northeast. Do you know the implication of that word? Do you know what it means to be a SARS officer or a mobile police officer or a military man or police sent to the war zone in Nigeria, in the Boko Haram territory,
right.
Come back without support and eventually goes back to the street? What do you expect? See, what I'm trying to say to you is that the system that the leadership has compromised, has failed, it is coming back to them now. You don't expect any political leader to just get up without thinking to know how to contribute to the society, not to step on toes, either to offend the masses or to offend their fellow brothers or leaders in the same position of authority.
Well,
when you go to Boko Haram and you fight wars, like SARS members go there,
right.
By the time they come back from that deployment, what are the sort of support they need? Have they gotten the proper support to help them come back and bring them back into the society?
Honorable, I will have to cut in. I will have to cut in now because we need to go on a short break. But before we go, people are saying that this protest has been hijacked, by some unscrupulous elements that want to take advantage of what is going on. Of course, we know the youths are demanding for a legitimate thing, because no country in the world allows human rights abuses, especially what we have seen so far in the case of police brutality in Nigeria. Now they are talking about political opponents hijacking this and all of that. We'll come back to that shortly after this break. Okay, if you are just joining us, of course it's still lunchtime discussion Vanguard Live TV, and I've been discussing with Miss Avril Eyewu Edero, who happens to be a security and forensic professional. She's been giving us a deeper insight into all of this. We'll come back shortly after this timeout.
imagine. Because that she's solely you.
What's that you now? What's that?
She has the right to video now. Okay, can you say?
Oh, what? Don't pass the motor here.
They're beating now.
Imagine.
They're beating now.
They're even. See, imagine. Because that she's solely you.
What's that you now? What's that?
She has the right to video now. Okay, can you say?
Oh, what? Don't pass the motor here.
Alright, you're welcome back to Lunchtime Discussion on Vanguard Live, where we've been looking at the SARS protest currently rocking some parts of Nigeria at the moment. We've been speaking with Avril Eyewedero, a forensic professional, and of course Honorable Etino Sir Igiebo, the founder of Think West Initiative. You're both welcome to the show. All right, Honorable. Before we went on break, we're talking about politicians accusing one another of hijacking the process. I mean the protests. We've had issues of this protest, turning violent in some quarters, and then people are saying that some people are trying to hijack it and then discredit the legitimate demand of the youth. What do you have to say concerning that?
Yeah, personally, I do believe that is a wrong approach, because you got to understand one thing. There are people who have suffered the same brutality from the SARS officers in particular. Why it has become a big problem now, the world can say. They may have not put in justice to a large extent now. You now get some kind of reaction.
Right.
People having a window of an opportunity to express themselves and then take it to any level that it will be. When you look at elements within the system who may have been trying to take this matter beyond the point of protest and the effort is being made, if reactions of government have been that way in many areas, because then you will not have been fit, we will not be experiencing what we're experiencing now. The policing system has a lot of attachment to so many aspects to bring out a good practice from a police officer. So for the leaders to say that, with all due respect, they blame the man, like I said, they will always try to say things to transform him. Now, who's to blame him? You are blaming the officer. What about the police institution? What about the police funding? How much support do they get? All these are burning questions and that's crying for answers. So for me, I personally think that it is not the right.
Honorable, thank you for that thought. Well, you have spent some time, in the UK, and of course, you must have come in contact with the Metropolitan Police over there, right? The police structure and system that we have here. Why is it difficult? From what is what we have over there.
Yeah, well, I think the first and foremost is, are we ready as a people to do the needful? Like I said, if you don't inject new ideas, say for example, I'm here, I was in the UK, yes, I've come across to the Metropolitan Police. They don't even need to carry guns to push the law across, to make sure that everybody is obedient. When you and I are there, and everywhere in the UK, we obey the law.
Right.
Because the officers is holding a gun, because the institutions is working. The police officers take pride in what they do.
Right.
They get necessary support.
Right.
Nobody can look down on them.
Right.
The salary structures are very okay. Nobody can misappropriate the material that they need to work.
Right.
Whether it is communication gadget,
Right.
whether it is support vehicles, whether it is support system within the establishment.
Right.
This is a put in perfect place and a perfect point.
Right.
A situation whereby to be a police officer in England is like you're a demigod. Not because of them, because of the crowd, the uniform that they're wearing.
Right. So policing.
Police tell you, I have to pay for my own uniform.
Right. Police there are well, well respected.
So what they should be doing is, yeah, they are well respected.
Right. Okay, that takes me to Avril. Avril, sorry to cut you in, honorable. All right, Avril in one of our reports, talked about injecting, modern technology into tactical policing. So can you explain more on that, Avril?
All right. So policing has gone beyond what is going on in Nigeria. I mean, policing we're still way behind. So when I talk about forensic intelligence, there are systems in which you can find a suspect without even, without finding anyone on the scene. So for example, if we had a fingerprint database, for example,
right,
there's a robbery somewhere, all you need to do is go to the crime scene, dust the place, collect the fingerprint, and put on the fingerprint database to check if there's a match to the suspect. That's what a fingerprint thing can help with intelligence gathering. So they're not going up and down, stopping people on the road, arresting them. You're just taking evidence from the crime scene and putting the evidence on your database to check for a match. This can be done with DNA. If someone has been killed with a bullet and we have a database for bullets, this database, what you do is recover the bullets. And because every bullet that comes out of a particular gun, we have the same striation mark. So it will always be unique to that gun.
Alright.
That is on a database. It just gives us the whole stress of putting people on the streets, and because even the police on the streets, their life is also endangered,
Alright.
Because it's the wrong people that have weapons even stronger than them. So it's just application of science and technology to investigation and security. And they don't need to have men. Like you said, I used to live in the UK as well. You never see police. I remember the first time I came to Nigeria after almost 10 years. I was so scared when I came out of the airport and I saw people with guns. I had to run back in to ask what's going on out there. Why have they got guns? So I was scared. I thought I found myself in a war zone.
Right.
I mean, it's not normal. It's not exactly even if you're going to carry one, carries, pistols.
Right.
AK-47.
Right. Okay. Well. Just recently, proponents of the SARS are saying that we should the protesters should be calm, and that's because they feel that the issue of insecurity currently bedeviling the country, and also the fact that the Nigeria police is understaffed, that maybe we should look towards proper reform. But again, the question that comes to mind is that if we are going to consider their own requests, should we do that at the expense of our own life? Because if you feel that you do not want the guys to be scrapped, or the units to be scrapped rather, how about the life of the masses that are being killed, brutalized, and if you like, maltreated, on a daily basis in the course of this guy's operation? Now, what do you think, we should do of insecurity, in the face of trying to ensure that we also address the issue of brutality in the Nigerian police system?
Well, it then falls back to the same thing I'm saying. You're going to have a period whereby everybody in police force, from the top to the bottom, they need to undergo training. So I'm not saying, for maybe political reasons and to calm the nation, you say SARS. But these people remain within the system. So what I was expecting to hear is, this and this will be put in place starting from next week. We're going to train them on human relation, communication.
But that was said by the president. The statement released by the president, he made mention. He said disbanding the SARS, is the first step in the total reformation of the Nigerian police. Are we not supposed to see that as a right step in the right direction?
But the problem in the whole policing structure, it doesn't just lie with SARS. The only reason they say SARS is because they are the ones it's easily.
Right.
So it's a systemic issue. issue. So it has, because same, if you bring the police there, probably in the office on the streets, you probably get the same result. So it's not about the people as individual, it's about the system as a structure. And that's what they need to focus on. Train every single people. If you hear about other things, people that face with the police station, you would also be shocked. So it's because these people are the ones we encounter on the streets that we feel like they're the only problem. But it's not. It's them. If it's whatever they give them, they can give as well. So they need to first let us know. What are the training plans? Who are the trainers? How would they do these things? We want to see things like that. I think that would make more sense, because you cannot just make the SARS. I'm sure we have over thousands of SARS officers. You can't throw them on the streets and tell them to go home. They're going to remain within the police structure, and that's what they need to focus on. Train them, let them train, properly reorientated. Their leaders as well, they should send them on that training so they can be good leaders. Let them face a lot of exposure, let them bring those in private. Me, I'm ready to even go and advise for free. I'm ready. I go to police station, I do trainings for them. Like, actually offer free trainings to police stations. When police come to any training I've done, I give them massive discounts, sometimes even free, because I want them to do the right thing. So if we can start from there, a lot of these security professionals are very well educated, very well exposed. We know how to help the system, and we are ready to even voluntarily help the system. They need to bring in those elements and educate. A lot of the police training, they send their leaders to these trainings abroad. But the people that deal with the citizens are the ones on the field. So let them advance the training for the senior ones to the younger ones that go to the streets, so that they are the ones that interact. They don't interact with the CPs or DCPs, because they don't really go to the streets. They should concentrate more on the ones actually that interact with people, that go on investigation, that stay on the street and work with the citizen. And I think that would work. So we should not look at it as just a SARS problem. We should look at it as a need for a general police reform, so the problem does not persist.
Right, thank you very much, Avril. All right, Honorable Egebo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
All right. Well, the protesters have, rightly stated the number of demand. You think we can, get that done in a very short while? Because it seems as though if those things are not in place, this issue of protest might not really get abated anytime soon.
Yeah, well, I think it could be done. My concern is when we talk about reforms and how we become part of that process that will make a change to do it. How do you teach an old dog new tricks? People are used to a particular way of behaving, they benefit from it. The society, when it comes to reforms, you and I will not change overnight. Even outside SARS, for instance, look at the military that is in the war front, in the wars of defending this country. You need to go and figure out what sort of treatment and support they get. So, talking about reforms, I think we're just trying to probably find a final word for it. I think what we need to do is that the leadership of this country knows quite well what is wrong. If you and I, as common people who are friends with people in authority, who are in the police force, who are friends with the common man on the street, knows quite well what they should do to correct these things, then I think it's about putting our hands up there and do the needful. They know what the problems are. I've seen certain AIGs who even support their police officers and giving them money. Why not just mandate them to bring certain amount of money back to the system? And if you don't, you're not working. So all these are things that you'll never see. We as Nigerians and as black people, we have learned certain traits that is self-destruction. It's self-destructive. It's not something we can overcome just right now. See what I'm saying? For the SARS situation, they end up shooting and killing innocent people, probably because they say a SARS man demanded 5,000 and didn't get the money and they go to Australia. So to me, resolving these issues is not about maybe disbanding them and not giving them jobs, because if they were criminals within the SARS system and you disband them or you get rid of them, they may end up back on the street being robbed and robbers. There are times when people will be running with a gun and a fire, get people down. That is a trained personnel. You can obviously tell that it's not a common street of backyard and robber.
Right.
The issues of policing and robbery in this country started after the World War, after the Civil War. warfare going on now, the best way to go about it is that we need to be honest with ourselves. The leadership must be ready and be truthful and forget about tribalism or regional issues or whatnot, because in certain neighborhoods and in certain geopolitical zones in Nigeria, like in the north, the police officers is pretty much, they don't have much to do. A lot of these problems are solved in Kanu, Kaduna, Sokoto, where I go to, by the traditional emirs,
Right.
most of the traditional rulers. But when it comes to the south, the southeast and the southwest, because of the ethnic diversity, maybe somebody from a particular part of the north is here, they end up being so aggressive to these people here because they know there's no coercion the way it is in the north. So these are issues we may not talk about here, but there are the bona fide reasons why our people, especially in the southeast, in the south and the southwest, is being killed. Without, they will tell you to do it and nothing happens. I'm not particularly blaming the south of people who are taking advantage. A few of them who are behaving so badly, or the political system who is doing the wrong thing, or the political leadership who is doing the wrong thing, or the people who are there doing nothing or getting involved in the conversation. I think we just need to be honest with ourselves. Do we want this country to survive? Do we want this policing to be okay? We don't need to come up with new ideas to start with. Let us go back and then take a little bit from the Western world on how the police communicate with people and what we did before that the country worked, and just implement it. If a police officer is behaving, let us do more background checks on them. And the one that is there now, many of them are afraid to even come up and tell you this is why they are behaving this way. So at the end of the day, we are speaking about this here, but the problem goes beyond this. If the leadership of Nigeria today and the policing system wants to correct what they need to correct, then the Police Services Commission must have a lot to say. The Police Agreement Commission, all these people that provide welfare for the police officers, their families, some SARS officers may have pressure at home because they don't have money to do certain things. The time they're on the street, they rely on getting a certain amount of money today in order to solve one problem, and they don't get it, they may end up doing something wrong. So all these are issues of social and welfare. People must be looked after. The people of Nigeria and the citizens and the youth, they do have the right to come up and say this. Protests have nothing to do with perhaps what SARS have just done now. It has been a burning issues on their mind.
Honorable Etino, sir, Honorable Etino, sir. Right. You the last time you spoke about documenting, some of the brutality of the SARS operatives, especially those that you found on the highway. What exactly is Think West doing? Because I understand Think West initiative, is helping the youth, towards a reorientation for a better Nigeria. What exactly are you doing, concerning this protest?
Yeah, well, we just did one on women and justice to support women in the society, and a particular lady, of course. But Think West initiative has plans to look at ways to have the best of both worlds, to run programs and seminars for young people to understand that if you're dealing with a man, you have to always feel the feelers. You feel the feelers in the sense that you watch the reactions to know that, okay, if an officer is not happy, there are better ways you can talk to them just to be safe at that point in time. That is on relating and putting out messages to these people, just like Avery said earlier, to support the police, and at the same time also kind of make the police officer understand that what they are doing for us in the society, as bad as it is, we appreciate it, and also find ways to encourage leadership within the police system to support them more. So Think West in that aspect, where I'm hoping to travel abroad, in time to get proposals, working with my affiliates in the US and the UK to see how we can raise funds to support more of these officers in this targeted section, so that they have reasons to realize that they have brothers and sisters in there in the fort. They need to learn to treat their people right. And if Nigerians are very nice people, when you're nice to them as an officer, they'll be anything you ask for. It is when you do it the other way around that it becomes difficult. So Think West is taken along those lines to see how we can work with best of both sides to get them to realize that the part that we are doing, whether it is truly police officers or truly people who sometimes react and not sensing the danger and end up being shocked, needs to find a way to do things more better.
Let's quickly go back to Avril. Avril, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. In times like this, you get a call from different quarters, and of course several suggestions, and We've also heard people saying that state police might actually be the way to go, especially with what a lot of people are calling for, because it seems so many people are losing interests in when it comes to revamping, restructuring, reforming the Nigeria police system. Some have said that it has actually gone beyond that a total overhaul would be needed. But then I don't know if you think state police might actually come to the rescue, because that would mean training, recruiting people that we think would serve the citizen in the best form and manner.
Well, I mean, it's like everything. It has its own advantage and disadvantage. So, in Lagos State, there's a bit of something that looks like a state police, which I would still prefer in the rapid response squad. And you can see how that goes. You can see the difference between the police in that team and every other police. So that works in a way, but because of political reasons, we don't also want a situation whereby the states they can use them for political things and they become their objective.
Right.
Police should be objective.
Right.
So that's the issue. But I mean, if it works, it could be something that could be tried out, and let's see how it works.
Right.
And if there should be some law guidance because of the peculiarity of
Right.
our country. So if any governor is using the police, for example, maybe the federal government can intervene.
Right. Right.
We've seen a model in Lagos, and we see it works quite well.
Right.
And if the states can look after their police well, and their welfare is very key, and provision of, if they have the lab and all those things to help with criminal justice system. So if we have different states managing the police, I see a bit of a difference as long as they don't, use it for their own.
Right. Avril, you spoke about your experience when you came to Nigeria. You said at the airport you met with some police officer, heavily armed, and then you were surprised that, well, this is not the same thing you have, from where you're coming from. You are a security expert, of many years experience. What exactly have you done in your own capacity to ensure that police brutality is somewhat stemmed to the barest minimum? Because when you came in, of course, what you saw was pretty a bad experience for you.
Yeah, my own way is awareness through training. Like I said, I've gone to the police station and offered free training. Some have allowed me, some have told me, given me reasons why I can't do it. So it's all awareness and training. And when people start a different perspective to how they have been doing things, it can actually change them. It can have an effect on them. When I've been doing a lot of crime scene investigation, evidence preservation, and some of the police officers have trained. You can see the difference in the way they do their work now. So education is always key. When they learn something new, they have a new perspective. They can understand things a bit better. So it's, for me, I'm on the awareness path. And like I said, I even go to them. I offer free. I don't mind doing it for free as long as it makes everybody better. So for me, that's my own ways. Through awareness.
Wow, very, very well then. Well, education is key. That is what Avril Eyewedero is saying here. And of course, she said she has offered many free training to some of Nigerian police officers. And of course, she said also that she is still willing to do more. Of course, Honorable Igebotu spoke about Think West initiative on how to ensure that the Nigerian police force, of course, Nigerian policemen are well trained and oriented in such that their civil relation is structured in a manner that, of course, it fits what we have abroad. All right, gentlemen and lady, many thanks for having you on the show. We hope to have you maybe before the week runs out to do another review on the ongoing NSAS protest. All right, we have Miss Avril Edero, a forensic expert and of course a security professional, who had told us a lot about what we need to do to reform the Nigerian police system. All right, many thanks Avril for coming on the show. And also we have Mr. Of course, Honorable Etinosa Igebo, who happens to be the founder of Think West Initiative. He joined us from Edo State, and of course he has told us what we needed to know about the ongoing NSAS protest, and of course how the Nigerian police can be better reformed to serve the Nigerian citizen. Well, that's all we have for you today, and of course we would advise you to like and of course share this so that other people can see it. And of course, do not forget to follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen, and of course visit our website www.vanguardngl.com, where you get more stories on the NSAS protest. Till we come your way again, many thanks for staying with us.